Hey, Bulls and Bears. It is Thursday, February 24th, 2022. We've got a lot to talk about with the markets, with the banking system. We have new, fresh warnings of cyber attacks possibly to hit the U.S. And the concern that I've put out here on this channel, and one of the concerns, is the fact that people are so dependent on credit cards, debit cards, and the banking system in general in order just to survive day to day. Most people don't have any food put away for more than just a few days. And I think any sort of freeze up in the banking system or the banks going down or going dark would cause a pretty dangerous panic within just a couple days. And I think it's going to be much worse than what we saw back in the Great Depression when the financial system collapses, when the economy finally is allowed to implode on itself without all these rescue programs and endless money programs. Then that's when you're going to see the ultimate collapse happen. Right now, we're seeing a collapse in your purchasing power with inflation and rising prices, but the threats are increasing that something big is going to happen here to our entire financial system, and we're talking about the banks. And it's not me saying that. Take a look at some recent news articles here. Here out of CNN, U.S. officials prep big banks and utilities for potential cyber attacks from Russia. Another one out of SC Magazine, cyber criminals become emboldened. U.S. banks prepare for potential attacks. So we're talking about the utilities, we're talking about the grid and the banking system. All right, now as far as the utilities going down or some sort of grid out scenario, we're still in winter and some very cold times are here right now. Here in San Diego, we'll survive. A lot of the southern states will be just fine, but in the northern states, I feel really bad if the power goes out, if the utilities go out in any sort of a manner. And again, I'm not saying this. These are the warnings that are being put out there by the intelligence agencies and U.S. officials. So prepare as you see sufficient. But I know I've said this for a while. I don't keep much money in the bank. I keep just enough for a couple months worth of expenses. But a lot of it I have out of the bank. I should say most of it I have out of the bank. And, I'm not giving advice here because that comes with risks also. Someone could break in and steal it from your mattress, or they could take your safe. But I feel more secure having it near me versus in some institution somewhere that could just come in and get electronically taken, if you know what I mean. Also, the U.S., we are implementing sanctions against Russia, economic sanctions. So it's possible. Does anyone think it's possible that they may want to retaliate and that they may go after our grid or our banking system? I think it's more than possible. I think I wouldn't be surprised at all if something like that happened. Also, we talked about this a couple reports ago. Russia is one of the biggest oil suppliers in the world. Expect to see more rising prices at the pump. And it's not just gas, because there's thousands of products that are made with petroleum. And in fact, someone put this down in comments. I didn't know it was so many products. I knew it was a lot of plastics and stuff like that, but over 6,000 products are made using petroleum. And Rankin Energy Corporation put this out with over 6,000 products and counting. Petroleum continues to be a crucial requirement for all consumers. Everything from plastics, which includes toys and many other products, automobile parts, appliances, and parts that go into these appliances. So bottom line, expect prices to continue to rise. And I think the rapidness of the increase is going to get just a lot worse as far as what I can see. Now, I think most of us here on this channel, probably 99% of you, are already prepared, and you're not too worried about what's going to happen. We're not going to see anyone invading this country. That's not going to happen for sure. And, the last thing I expect is for something to happen, here on this soil. But I think the economic impacts are going to be noticeable. But again, I think most of us here have been preparing for this for quite a long time. All right, the economy. Let's talk about the housing market. Home sales. New home sales tumble in January as mortgage rates soar. All right, now I got a few messages on this. JJ, home prices dropped. You said the market wouldn't crash, folks. This is not a crash. When I say crash, we haven't even seen a correction yet when it comes to prices. In California, we saw prices decline from December to January, but that's typical in the winter months. And month over month numbers really do not mean much. Year over year, there's too much inflationary pressure to have prices come down. Even if mortgage rates go up, you're going to have to see a 7 or 8% mortgage rate, average mortgage rate, in order to compensate for all the other inflationary factors. We have too many people, not enough houses. We have a supply chain crunch, a labor shortage. The rising energy and fuel costs alone are going to also just have an impact on the overall cost of doing business and rebuilding homes. There's pressure on companies, including home builders, to pay higher wages because the cost of living is affecting everybody. So they're going to have to raise their prices too. When you see higher wages demanded, someone's going to pay for that, and it's going to be you and me and the average U.S. consumer that's going to end up paying for these higher wages in the end. And just add on everything else that's going to be going up. Your taxes are going to be going up. Your insurance costs are going to be going up. All of your fees, registration fees, etc., all going to be going up with states under this financial pinch. It was another amazing rescue day for the plunge protection team. Just looking at the Dow Jones today. Today we saw a low of 32,272, and the market's closed today at 33,223. So nearly a 1,000 point swing in the Dow Jones today. So the reason for the sell-off was going to be the threats of war, the overall impacts, and the threats to the U.S. banks. The threats haven't went anywhere. The threats are still here, but yet the market came back 1,000 points from today's low. The money machine that's behind these markets, that's behind all of the propping up of this entire economic system, this economy would have imploded a long time ago without record levels of debt, without the 30 trillion debt, plus the nearly 200 trillion unfunded liabilities, all the rescue programs. We just talked a few reports ago about how 4 million people, additional people, dropped into poverty just since the expiration of the child credits there. And it's just going to get worse. It's going to have to be endless money printing. Obviously, they had plenty of excuses to pull the plug on all this propping up of this economy. The war would have been the perfect opportunity to let the markets go down, and we see today nearly 1,000 point swing. So they're not going to let the markets go down as far as I can see. And I see the same thing in other parts of the economy. The housing bubble, I do not see the money machine allowing the bubble to deflate. Looks like it's going to be a collapse via rising prices, via a higher cost of living, an inflationary collapse. That means your purchasing power is going to collapse, and that's going to be the collapse. It's not going to be the markets as far as I can see. Hope everybody's well. Quick note to my Patreons. I did put out I've got a new channel actually, and I tried Patreon a year or two ago. I'm doing it now again with a more focused approach. It's going to be about investing. And in my last my first one on the new channel, and in my last report I just put out there, link down below, I talk about more of my investment strategy and how I've made pretty good. I'll explain it over there for those of you that want to support the channel. Please check it out, link below. I also talk about some more personal stuff over there and how I'm playing things here going forward. So link down below. Thanks for being here, everybody. Big love.